If you really want your content to take off, you have to get one thing right. And I mean perfect. The hook. So today, we're going to break down a powerful framework for writing hooks that literally grab a viewer and refuse to let go. So let's be real. You pour hours, maybe even days into making something great, you hit publish, and nothing. Crickets. Why do so many videos just fall flat? The answer is a lot simpler and honestly a lot faster than you probably think. Doom. There it is. It all comes down to the first 3 seconds. That's it. That is your entire window of opportunity. If you don't nail the hook in that tiny little time frame, you've already lost. They're gone. Okay, so to write better hooks, we first have to get really clear on what their job actually is. And trust me, it is way, way simpler than most people make it out to be. A great hook doesn't have to be some work of genius. Its only job is to get a viewer to consciously decide, okay, I'll keep watching. That's an opt-in. And to get that opt-in, it just needs to do 2 things. First, topic clarity. What is this even about? And second, on-target curiosity. Is this for me? That's the whole game. Clarity and curiosity. So if the goal is that simple, why do so many hooks still fail? Well, it almost always boils down to one of 4 really common but totally fixable mistakes. Let's diagnose them. And here they are. I call them the 4 horsemen of bad hooks. Delay, confusion, irrelevance, and disinterest. I can pretty much guarantee you if your content is underperforming, one of these culprits is to blame. The first and honestly the most common mistake is just delay. You're simply taking too long to get to the point. You're warming up when you should be sprinting. Just look at the difference here. The hook on the left is pure fluff. Craziest thing I've ever seen. Who cares? It doesn't tell me anything. But the one on the right? Here are 3 simple ways to improve your gut health. Bang. Immediate clarity. I know exactly what the value is. The takeaway is simple. Cut the intro, kill the fluff, and get straight to the value.
Okay, next up, mistake number 2, confusion. This is when you get to the point quickly, but your language is just a jumbled mess. It's awkward or way too complex.
I mean, just look at this train wreck on the left. You kind of get the idea, but your brain has to work to untangle it. And no one on social media is willing to do that work. Now look at the right. It's the same exact idea, but it's simple, it's direct. You could explain it to a 6th grader. Your goal should always be maximum clarity with 0 confusion. All right, mistake number 3 is a bit more subtle. It's irrelevance. This is when the viewer totally understands your topic, but they just don't feel like it's meant for them. Now, the fix for this is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Just look at the shift from I to you. When you say I struggled, you're making it about your story. But when you say if you've struggled, you're pulling them directly into the conversation. It removes all doubt. It makes the content feel instantly personal and, well, relevant.
And that brings us to the last horseman, disinterest. Okay, so your hook is fast, it's clear, it's relevant, but it's still boring. It just fails to create that must-watch curiosity. So how do you fix boring? You create contrast. You have to shift from a nice-to-have to a need-to-have. Learning about skincare trends? Yeah, that's nice to know, I guess. But solving an active acne problem? That feels urgent. By framing your hook around a specific pain point, you create this powerful curiosity loop that the viewer feels they have to close. All right, we've diagnosed all the problems. Now for the fun part, the actual solution. Let's get into a simple, repeatable formula for crafting hooks that are basically impossible to skip. It's a 3-step process like a 1, 2, 3 punch. First, you have the context lean in. Second, you hit them with the scroll stop interjection. And third, you finish with the contrarian snapback. Let's break down exactly how this powerful combo works. Step 1 is the context lean-in. First, you give immediate topic clarity, the tech in the Vegas sphere, and then you give them a fact so mind-blowing they literally have to lean in. You know, its screen is 20 times bigger than an IMAX. Okay, you have my attention. I'm listening. Now, right when they're leaning in, you hit them with step 2, the scroll stop interjection. Think of this as a stun gun. You use a powerful pattern interrupt word like but or however. You just told them how amazing this screen is.
And now you're saying it's the least impressive part? Wait, what? Their brain short circuits. They have to know what's coming next.
And here's the knockout punch, the contrarian snapback. You take their attention and you yank it in a direction they never saw coming. We thought this was a story about visuals, but the secret is actually the audio. You've just created a massive curiosity gap, and that's it. Hook, line, and sinker. They're not going anywhere. Okay, so once you have that 3-step formula down, you can give it even more juice with a few pro-level power-ups. Let's run through 4 of them real quick.
First, use visual hooks. Big, bold text on screen. People read way faster than they listen. Next, add a little motion to your visuals. It just catches the eye. Third, try cold topping. Mention a brand or person everyone knows, like Mr. Beast. It creates an instant connection. And finally, use staccato sentences. Short, punchy, they hit harder. Simple as that. So after all that, what's the one thing you really need to take away from this? It's all about making a fundamental shift in how you think about the first few seconds of your content.
The goal is to move away from that flawed mindset on the left, being vague, delayed, me-focused, and just plain boring. And you want to move toward the winning formula on the right. Clear context, sharp clarity, being you-focused, and creating high contrast and curiosity. This is the whole shift. You stop hoping for attention and you start engineering it.
Because at the end of the day, every hook you write is a promise you're making to your viewer. It's a promise of value, a promise of a solution, a promise of a new perspective. So, as you go to create your next piece of content, just ask yourself this: what will you promise?